movie Out of Darkness. Ross's character emerges from years of mental, emotional, and physical hell thanks to an experimental drug. She comes to terms with herself and her loved ones, including her daughter.
And you see it a lot in the homeless. You know, they could be walking down the street and they just start to shout at something. Have you noticed? Have you ever seen that? Just, you know, something that's very real for them, you know. So it was really an important role to work on, and I really do hope that if we do anything at all, that we promote a bit of understanding about this illness.
Out of Darkness airs Sunday on ABC Theater.
44 after. When I spoke to Diana Ross last November, she said her favorite song was Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Well, she's proving her point by climbing new artistic peaks as co-producer and star of Out of Darkness, a film about a family's struggle with mental illness. It airs Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific and 8 p.m. Central, right?
I don't know. Yeah, we were just talking about time zones.
Did I get that right? Yeah, 9 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Right. So what other mountains does Diana Ross have to scale? She's here to talk about it this morning. Good to have you back here.
Nice to see you.
Since we talked, she's gotten into the Guinness Book of World Records. What is it for?
Oh, well, I think, I don't know.
It's for being the most successful female artist, right? I think you just released your 59th.
It's nice to hear you say it. I would like that.
Am I right that you released your 59th album?
Yes.
Does that make you feel old?
Don't you say that.
Well, but I mean, you begin to...
yeah, it makes you feel older.
I remember Tony Bennett when he was in here, and we were counting up the number of albums, and he thought, oh, my Lord, you know, you're not talking about what I'm doing anymore. All of a sudden, you're talking about a career.
Yeah. In the early days, we released more than one album a year.
That's right.
And I would do Christmas albums and special albums, like an album dedicated tribute to Sam Cooke or the Beatles and Rodgers and Hart. So we would have more albums out in a year than you do now. Now you have one current album a year, possibly.
And some people only every couple of years.
Right, every couple.
That's one of the changes in the music industry.
It is.
Well, it has to be more than one a year, because if we're 59 a year, well, at one a year,
She's
that would
not
make
that
you...
old. Really old.
You'd be in a different kind of chair if that were the case. Overall, are you satisfied generally with the career? Are you pleased? You think this has gone well? You look at this and think...
I have absolutely been blessed. It's a wonderful career. I dreamed of being a singer as a kid and had the luck to have this wonderful career, and I'm really excited about it.
There's still a few things that she wants to do, because we've talked about this before. She's wanted to do the Josephine Baker story for I don't know how many years we've talked about this. Someone else did do a version, but I hear that you're still going to do your version.
Well, I still want to, and I'd like to do it as a feature at some point. And I still have a lot of people very interested in it, but it's a very expensive project. I have to have someone that believes in it as much as I do to do that. But some of the things outside of career that I really would like to do is to write children's books, you know, and those are the things that a lot of, I know, performers are doing now. And I did one for Japan, a children's book for Japan, and those kind of things are really different and a lot of fun.
You talk about things different that you'd like to do. Anything musically left to achieve?
Well, yes. More hit records, I'd like that fine. I did an album with Placido Domingo and Jose Carreras, a Christmas album in Vienna. And those things were different. Children's albums, yeah, I'd like to do a lot of different things.
I asked because after doing so many albums and having such a body of work, I wonder what gets your interest up, or what revives the juices and makes you think, oh, this is different, and I really like to do this.
I don't think you go for different as much as you go for best. You try to find a really good, really wonderful song. Like, I've released some songs of late. I found a song called Best Years of My Life. This is my 30th year anniversary in music, and this song was just so incredibly appropriate. And it's, the lyrics are wonderful, and it really is finding the right, perfect song that is for you. That's the thing you search for.
Do I hear a perfectionist here?
Yeah.
Well, it does sound like that, and as I listen to you, I think she probably can't like every song. And I wonder, a good album, how many songs on an album do you like?
All of them, because now I will not select a song, I will not sing a song unless I somehow have an identification with it.
Really?
And there's enough out there constantly.
Right, and also, you know, I really do take the responsibility as a performer that the things that I sing need to be honest and true for me, not something that just is provocative, for instance, just to make a record. I believe in the songs that I make. Hopefully they're inspirational, like Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and things like that, you know, Reach Out and Touch, and those kinds of songs.
Yeah.
So you keep trying to find something that is, that makes a difference somehow.
Well, we want to take a little sneak preview of this movie, though, so we're going to take a break for a moment. We'll come back and continue our discussion of the movie Out of Darkness. We'll be back with Diana Ross. This week,
Can't control the thoughts I want. I think of something I want to say, and then I say it and it comes out different. I listen to everything I say because I want to hear what I say.
Diana Ross in an ABC movie, Out of Darkness, in which she plays a woman who suffers from schizophrenia. And it's an unexpected role. I wonder how it came to you and how you got involved in it.
The producers, Andy Adelson and George Perkins, brought the idea to me from an article from the paper. It was talking about this new drug that gives some hope in schizophrenia. And then we went about doing the research and getting a writer to put together the project. But what I found in the research is that a lot of our homeless in America, a lot of the hospitals were emptied out. And you find out that schizophrenia is not just multiple personalities. It's a host of a lot of diseases and illnesses. And the families in America, or families all over the world, really struggle with where to go and what to do and how to find. See, because it's not like something that ever gets over it. And it happens usually around 18, 19, 20 years old. You can raise a perfectly healthy, fine child, and then all of a sudden something happens.
And this is a woman who basically, because of her disease, loses a major part of her life, I gather.
18 years we suffered, or I've suffered, or my character, Paulie, has suffered with this illness. And isn't that funny? That's what happens when you do a film.
I was just going to say, you're beginning
to start to identify, I stay involved in the role, you get so committed to what you're doing. It becomes so important. It's like, it does become you.
You put her on and you can't take her off.
Yeah, and that was one of the hard parts with a role like this, is because I really spent a lot of time with a lot of clients, which are the patients who have this illness and families, and researching it, and you really do become, it's just like I say, you become Billie Holiday or Lady Sings the Blues, but you kind of become the character in a sense, so you really understand the confusion and what's going on and the struggle. Each moment of struggle and what courage people with mental illness have to sustain this over years, 18 years. This character suffered through it, and people through their entire lives, and their families have to stay by them, stand by them. You know, in the old days, the stigma was they put anyone that had any problems mentally away because they didn't know how to deal with it, or it was electric shocks, or it was all the drugs and things that gave no hope. Well, our film, in a sense, the reason why I liked working on this is because there was a possibility of hope here. Yeah. And for understanding, if we could get just a little moment of understanding people so they understand what they're seeing. It's not panhandlers a lot that we see in the street. It's people that really need some support. And as I travel all over the world, I see that most countries have medical assistance for a lot of these problems, where I guess now we're trying to figure out if there's a way that we can have medical assistance for a lot of. And once they've been on the streets, they don't really want to go back in, that I can see.
You were saying earlier when I asked you about being pleased with the body of work, you said, I always dreamed of being a singer. Do you ever think about yourself as an actress?
Not really, no.
Yeah? Does it still feel foreign a little bit when you act?
Well, especially because I haven't really worked in front of the camera in this way in a long time. I've taken these pauses in my career where I've had my children, raised my family, and I've traveled Europe, Japan, Paris, all over the place, but I was always taking pauses. So I'm back in front of the camera, so you have to find out what is it that makes it real and honest for you, and your own techniques, because I never really studied acting. So I found little ways of, again, putting on the character and keeping it on. I had to send my children away during the process of this because I didn't want to come home and let them feel the confusion that I was feeling, because it stays with you really a lot.
You couldn't just
I look
take it off
forward to putting on my makeup and my lashes and that big funny green outfit that Terry Mugler made for me. That was the first time I put on anything that was fun that I could laugh about it, you know, to lighten up on the project, after the project.
Well, good to have you here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Thank you. Good.
And you want to run through those hours again?
It's 9 o'clock here and 8 o'clock out there. Okay?
Oh.
Let's talk.